Yes, Aries, this one is for you. Here you are. That's Aries. And over here, it's Terra Lumination. That's who we are. And this is your August 2017 general. Now, you know the drill. Watch for your sun, your moon, and your rising. Squish it all together. Okay? Also, heads up, it's eclipse season. We've been saying the same thing for all the other signs. It's a big shift, okay? There's no going back with the eclipse energy. It's one of the most powerful transits that you can feel in your life, and they are regular occurrences, okay? We're shifting into the Leo Aquarius eclipses, which line up with the Leo North Node evolutionary journey, wouldn't you know? And at the same time, we've got all these massive retrogrades, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And also, later in the month, it's going to be Mercury retrograde. So that's a lot of retrograde energy. The whole theme is about refurbishment, renew, rewind, revisit, repair, redo, rejoice, maybe celebrate the good stuff, okay? So with these eclipses, basically, if you think of yourself as Aries Mark 1, and you're heading into that like loader ramp with the conveyor belt that drags you into this like big black box, which is this like car wash type place with the wiggly plastic doors at the front and then the wiggly plastic doors at the back, and you have to go all the way through, and you just watch the car go through, and it gets swirlified and hosed and brushed, and machines get in there, and it's all about making you and turning you into the new Aries Mark II, fully sparkleized and refurbished to get on with your new life, because Aries Mark I is essentially going to become redundant. Okay, and let's not be too shy about all this stuff. There's no way out of it. It's the same for you, Aries, as all the other 11 signs. So what can happen is with the eclipses, anything that is redundant, obsolete, no longer viable, corrupted, virally infected in your operating system is going to go one by one, bit by bit, piece by piece. And they're going to have to do it the hard way, like they do at the dentist, or you're going to do it gently. One way or another, it's going to happen. So let's see if we can get through this gracefully. Okay, the cards are well shuffled. You saw that. We're just going to cut. I'm going to cut again. Strange cuts, because I like to break up the energy. Okay. And let's just say it's going to be fun. Okay. We're just going to determine that this is going to be fun, even though the refurbishment process might be a little bit wobbly making. Okay, here's the general vibe for you, Aries. Here's where you're coming from into this August eclipse period. By the way, there's a precursor here with the Leo new moon right at the end of July, so that might give you a few tips about what's actually happening. You might already get a hint and a feel of what's happening in the hows and the whys, which would be good, because when you have advance notice, at least you can feel like, well, I'm going to get through this. I'm an Aries anyway. What's the big deal? I'm used to going face first into the enemy lines, face first into danger, and taking all these risks that no one else wants to do. Someone's got to do it. So why not me, Aries Mark 1? Sure, bring it on. So that's your general vibe. That's where you're coming into the eclipses. This is like the perpetual now as you head through the eclipses. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And this is like you before you come into the big conveyor belt and through those like big plastic wobbly doorway things. And then this is you actually now entering inside the black box. Oh my gosh. So how you're going to get through this effectively, safely, and so that it all works out the way it's supposed to work out, so you don't have a hissy fit while you're going through your refurbishment. Okay, and what happens to you as you start coming out of the box, okay, and you start to like understand what's happening, like, oh my gosh, I see what they're talking about now on Terra Lumination, that whole thing about like, oh, they ripped out all the redundant stuff, inserted all the new stuff. And now I get it. They couldn't have put in all the new stuff unless the redundant stuff was removed. Duh. Of course, I knew that anyway. I'm an Aries. So again, but you have a right to feel scared of what might happen if it doesn't all work. But you also have a right to feel excited about what could happen if everyone does their job properly. All the refurbishers, the angels from heaven, and your own attentive self doing what you have to do according to all those retrograde planets and how they are pressuring you. Okay? So you're going to handle it. But where does that take you? Coming out, like freshly coming out of the black box onto the conveyor belt as the brand new sparkleized Aries Mark II. You're probably still dripping with all sorts of stuff, and you'll probably have to be mopped down and gently, buffed and polished as you go through the next few months, September, October, and November. But you'll soon get into the swing of it, and you'll see how it's much nicer to be Aries Mark II than it ever was to be Aries Mark I. And everyone else gets it too, because we're all going through the same thing. So it's almost like the readings are the same for everybody. That's all you have to know. You're going to get refurbished. There you go. Well done. That's the end of the reading. Bye. No, we're going to make it special just for you. So the supportive energy around you, let's just say the energy or the weather conditions as you go through this. Okay, so you've got the little Four of Cups here. So it might be that there's a bit of reluctance. Like, do I really have to do this stuff? I mean, yeah. I mean, I have a life. I mean, I'm Aries Mark I, and, and maybe I screwed up here, and maybe, I wish I'd done things properly over here, and maybe, like, I wish I'd been treated better over here, and, yeah. Oh, well, but, this is life. No, Aries. This is life over here. This is the good stuff. This is the good new love energy that's coming at you as you go through it. You just might be a little bit wrapped up, like just a little bit of reluctance here, becoming aware that you're going to go through these eclipses and being aware that you're going to lose a lot of your sense of identity of self, because you might have a lot of your sense of identity buried and vested in the past, in what was, in what was happening, and how they could have, would have, should have been, and that becomes your life. But no, life is right here, right now. This is what's happening right now, okay? So this energy is going to become redundant itself, all right? So what's the vibe heading in for the whole, like your actual refurbishment? Okay, so at least you are aware that this is an awesome opportunity for a new start. Okay, even though you might be a little bit reluctant to have to go through the actual refurbishment process itself. It's okay, Aries, you're going to handle it. And it's still very early days, because the reality is, like, Tarot Illumination isn't going to predict the future here. Like, oh, you're going to become this and do that, and you're going to meet them and have them, and they're all going to fall in love with you, and you're going to become really rich. So we don't do that here in Tarot Illumination. We're focusing more about the energy of what's happening inside of you and how you live through your life, so to speak. So the vibration is, the general vibe at the core of this reading for you, Aries, is that deep down you are aware that big changes are ahead and that decisions are going to have to be made about what am I going to do, how am I going to be, who am I going to be when I come out of all this on the other side as Aries Mark II. We don't actually know yet, but you are aware at least that big changes are coming and big decisions have to be made, because it's like you're starting off on a whole new life, and you're like, it's just like the little picture of the Two of Wands here. Like they have the world in their hands. You've got your life in your hands now, and it's a big deal. It's like, wow, what am I going to do with this? Aries Mark II. Wow, this is pretty cool. I read about it. I heard about it on Tarot Illumination, but let's just see what happens, okay? So what are you coming in with? Man, okay. So the Death card here is indicating you already know. Okay? You are honestly fully aware that you're heading into this. And you might even feel like it's a, what's the nice word to say here? Storm. S-H-I-T-S-T-O-R-M. And that this feeling of the blahs is more actually about the weather just reflecting yourself back to you, feeling like, damn, I wish I didn't have to go through this, because the reality is it's going to be transformational. That's what evolution is all about. The cutting away, the cutting away, the cutting away of what is obsolete and redundant. And it has to die. It has to be burned off. It has to be eliminated and buried so that the new stuff can grow. Okay. It's like what farmers do when they burn their crops after they've been harvested, because the burning, the killing of the roots and all that old stuff turns into fertilizer for the new crops. Yay. So at least you're coming into the eclipses through August on the understanding that Aries, I already knew this. You didn't even have to tell me at Terra Lumination. I already knew that we're going to be transformed. It's okay. I can handle it. I'm Aries Mark 1, and I know I'm going to become Aries Mark 2 and start a new life. So that's very cool. So let's just get on with it, okay? All right? Let's just die before we die and just get on with it. You know, we don't have to be all pussyfooting around here. We're just going to do it. So where does that bring you into the present moment where you actually are realizing, oh my gosh, this is actually happening? Did we mention that about the analogy with the conveyor belt, like all the other signs? I forgot. Anyway, just pretend like the eclipses here in August are analogous to this black box, and it's a journey process. And the black box is like this big car wash thing with the squiggly gates at the front, squiggly plastic gates at the back. Come in on the conveyor belt at the front, you go through, and you come out the other side, sparkleized. Okay, I might have repeated myself, but I'm sorry, I forgot earlier. So you are now aware that you're heading into this, okay? Truth be told, this might be a very serious reality check for you, Aries, because it's a stark realization that everything that you thought was you, the sovereignty of yourself, the full Aries Mark 1, is going to be deeply questioned. And so your natural regal self about being in charge, being the one who goes out there and fearlessly just does what has to be done in the world, you're still that. And I think you're going to conduct yourself with that degree of dignity and pride and self-awareness as you go into the eclipses. However, because you're coming in knowing that this is going to be a major transformational experience, it might feel as though your crown here might get a bit shaken and fallen off, okay? And the robes might slip and you might be exposed for just being a dude with a sword, okay? Sorry to put it that way, because when you go into the refurbishment, they're going to strip you down to the frame, okay? And they're going to be going into the truth of everything. They're going to look at every aspect of you, Aries. They're going to pull it all apart. And everything that is not authentically, truly good for you, it's going to be removed. It's going to be eclipsed. And it's going to be an extensive process. It could extend for months. It's starting here in August. So you might feel that your dignity is being offended, your sovereignty is being questioned, and your authority is being questioned. But you are still Aries Mark 1, even with your crown off and your robes slipped off to the side. You're still Aries Mark 1, and you're going to come out fine. Don't worry. So hang in. So now let's just say you're actually you're crossing through those flappy plastic curtains. You're now heading into the black box. It's almost like I might as well just take this moment as a chance to chill, because what can I do? I'm an Aries. I know this has to happen. I'm fully aware. I know I'm going to come out the other side just fine, in fact, even better. And I might feel a bit rattled and feeling like my ego is being shaken up here. But you know what? If I really, really am honest, I deserve this. I know this has to happen anyway. So I'm just going to take this as a moment to chill. In other words, it's just like being one of those people who takes their beautiful car, Mark 1, puts it into the big black box car wash, it comes out the other side, and while it's all happening, you, the driver, you just go and take a nap. And then they come and wake you up on the other side. So that's cool. It could be an opportunity for you. In other words, if you surrender to the process and treat this whole thing as a transformational healing. You see where we're getting at here? Transformational healing, get it? Transformational healing. Then you will be fully lined up to make the best of this evolutionary event, okay? So this is very, very good news for you, Aries. It's awesome. You're in the right place at the right time with the right people for the right reason, doing the right things, okay? Very, very cool. Now, to get through this process, let's have a look. Okay. If, as you go through this starts to stir up like emotional energy, there's no love cards here, okay? But what might happen is, as you go through this like rattling and shaking process and the refurbishment, and they shake the frame, the Aries frame, and they pull it all apart, and they shake, and all the dust and the lint and the goop that is blocking everything, and even the removal of the chips and the bits and the hardwares and softwares that need to come out. It might be an actually emotionally turbulent, scary thing, which, of course, Aries, you would not normally like to admit, okay, being this kind of energy by nature. However, if you treat this in your wisdom as a transformational healing process and allow for, let's say, the emotions, the heart energy, your feelings and your intuition and your subconscious energies to come to the surface, there could be a tremendous amount of wealth there that will be exposed, because there's you, okay, Aries, the frame, the computer frame, and then they're going to pull out all these redundant, useless, unhealthy aspects of yourself and replace it with new, cool, new stuff. The upgraded Aries Mark II. It just might be an emotionally turbulent experience, which could translate into your physical body as fear, frightening, disorienting, scary, okay? But that's normal. You're a human being, Aries. It's okay to be scared. Even as the ultimate like warrior, it's okay to admit that sometimes it's scary to go into battle. And if you treat the refurbishment process here as another battle, as another war, which in some ways it is, it's a battle of the self with the self, you letting go of the old Mark II while the new Mark II Aries is being integrated, yeah, that might be a little bit disturbing. And if you're honest, because you're a human being, then that would make sense. It's okay. So if you are aware of this going in, the healthiest thing to do is chill, like you've made the decision to do here, and live through the emotional turbulence if you have to. In other words, if you have an uncharacteristic major breakdown through the process, like as the refurbishers, the angels from heaven, and all those like retrograde planets are starting to rip out the stuff, and it feels very frightening and emotionally disturbing for you, just allow that to flow, okay? And you'll be okay. That's how you get through this, okay? You allow it to be scary, and you live through the scary stuff because you know it's just part of the process, okay? And then instead of taking it personally and trying to run away or thinking this is a battle that I can never win, no, 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 no. You're fully equipped to handle this because you're already fully appraised going in. You already deep down in your soul, you know what's going to happen. So no matter how scary it is as you go through the black box, you're going to be just fine because you know it's just a passage of time, okay? Now it's going to be full on in August, but the ripple effect is going to happen for many months. So you might get these aftershocks for quite a while where you get these like shell shock experiences, like every now and again, even though you are the new Aries Mark II, and we haven't even got to that part yet. As you evolve in September, October, November, and on into 2018, you might have like flashbacks about, oh my God, what happened when you were transforming, when you were going through this deep transformational healing experience in August 2017. Oh my gosh, a flashback. It was horrific. But it's just a flashback. It's okay. You're still going to be Aries Mark II. You can live through it. You can get through it. So what's coming at you? Like, what could be coming at you? Like with the laws of attraction, it's almost like you might be aware of the new reformat Aries Mark II and what you're going to be and how you're going to be. You might not be, but you might be if you accept the laws of attraction. If you don't, then it might feel like it's all brand new and weird and wonderful. And wow, what was that? But let's pretend you have both awarenesses. You allow for fate and you allow for the laws of attraction. Okay. Look, you see? You see what happens, Aries, if you literally trust in the energy of heaven, you trust in the universe, you trust yourself, you believe in yourself, you know deep down your sovereignty is still going to be fully intact. You're already aware that this is going to be a transformational healing experience, no matter how scary and frightening, because ultimately what's coming out at you at the other side, over this side, Aries Mark II, is a whole new life. Okay? Let's just focus on the Leo energy for a moment. Leo North Node. It's going to be in your 5th house. Creativity, self-expression, passion, life, joy, being happy, being expressive and out there in the world, taking crazy wild risks, going back to like raw Aries type of nature. And that's how it's supposed to be. And this is you like living to your maximum potential. This is almost like an Aries card itself. This is the Ace of Wands. And you're going to have the opportunity now, because aces are opportunities, and these are divine opportunities, let's say, coming to you, or that you have earned from being you as well as you could be as Aries Mark I. As you go through the refurbishment, you come out the other side, bam-o, Aries Mark II, the most awesome Aries ever, 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 ever. And it's going to start all over, like you're going to almost feel like you're starting a whole new life. And it could almost mean like, wow, I never even expected this much. Like, yeah, I got plans, I got ambitions, and I know I need to do this. I know it's going to be a transformational healing experience, and I know my crown might get shaky, and I might, my belt might fall loose or something, and I might lose my pants for a while, my dress or whatever. But it's going to be okay. And I'm not going to admit to everybody or tell everybody how scary it was to go through the refurbishment, but damn, look at that. Look at that. Yeah, awesome. So if you're honest and you admit it could be quite scary, what happens like in your ultimate dreams? Like, how could this work out really for me? And what happens if it doesn't work out? So, see, look at this. It's like a power reading, Aries. You're hoping that you can be not only the King of Swords again, but like the ultimate Aries, okay? The ruler of rulers, the boss of the bosses, fully in charge of your world, fully in full mastery and ownership and sovereignty of your empire. But it's not in a malicious, like, warlord, slash and burn, destroy the competition, pulverize the other nations and the other countries and the other people type of energy. No, we're talking about the emperor in their highest vibration. This is the emperor who's been through everything. They know all about war. They know all about suffering. They know all about how to conquer, how to win, and how to maintain a very, very strong, functional, healthy, capable world. So that, if that's what you're hoping for, if that's what you desire to be, in other words, the ultimate Aries, like secretly, like, because you know this is already going to happen, and you might be a little regretful to have to go through this because you're already pretty awesome as Aries Mark I, but knowing that you're going to become Aries Mark II, the most awesome, coming out like this, it's okay for you to wish for this and hope for this and believe in this. And you're not even going to dwell on for a moment of what happens if this doesn't happen. We're not even going to go there. It's totally unnecessary in this reading because it's inevitable that that's where you're going to be. Okay? So that's very, very good news. Now, this is not energy that you're going to abuse. Okay? Just because you have this much power, Aries, with great power comes great responsibility. Now, that could be in your relationships. It could be, wherever the Aries mark lands in your chart, in your star profile, for example. So, like with you with the Leo North Node, for example, if you start expressing yourself as the ultimate Aries in that part of your life, well, it wouldn't be egomania or narcissism or megalomania or vanity. It would just be really good, juicy, raw, powerful, like the ultimate Aries that everybody can respect and everybody truly respects. And you rule not by fear, but you rule by compassion. You rule with compassion and caring, even though there's hardly a hint of compassion here. A true emperor who really, really loves his people and cares about his people does also bring in the energy of compassion, okay? So you might be called upon to be a very capable leader as Aries Mark II, but not like a dominating, power-hungry, maniacal type leader, but very much a compassionate, inspiring, healthy leader who inspires others to become their own awesome selves. So where does that bring you? Wow, okay. It brings you into, let's say, a challenge where you might have to literally wrestle with your own power, because Aries, you are kind of built to handle power, be power, and carry power, and like that warrior type energy. So what could happen is this could go to your head. So this is a little like disclaimer and a warning type thing, like as you're coming out of the black box and all the refurbishers are doing the final wipe down and the pats downs and the buffing, so you're super sparkleized Aries Mark II, they're just letting you know, excuse me, dear Aries, however young you are, beautiful, old, rich or poor, you have been bestowed with tremendous power. Okay, Aries Mark II? And we, the refurbishers, are suggesting that you may be very, very, very tempted to use this power for your own self-gratification and purposes. And we're just letting you know that not only will you be tempted, you may actually try that out. And we're also letting you know, dear Aries, if you dare to mess with that kind of power and try to manipulate that much power for your own self-serving purposes, that could have serious kickback, okay? We're just letting you know, Aries. In other words, it's like, you know, when you get an amazing new car and they're just letting you, the dealer is just letting you know, please understand, you do not want to mess with this vehicle because you could easily get into a lot of trouble and hurt yourself and other people just because you become so intoxicated with the awesome ride. So that's the kind of energy I'm feeling here for you, Aries. Like, as you evolve and come out of this and you become the new Aries Mark II, you're going to be extremely capable and much more powerful and much more complete in such a way that you could be tempted, you know. And that could be like an internal war. How can I continue to conduct myself as this emperor type energy and still radiate the energy of compassion? Do you see what the difference is here? This is the energy of passion, but all we're suggesting here on this reading is to add the energy of compassion, okay? If that makes any sense to you. Notice how the only love cards you have in the reading are right in the weather and the surrounding conditions. So if we go right back to the beginning of the reading, please understand that it's all about, the whole little reading here in the eclipses is all about getting you out of the doldrums of being the worn out, beat up, old Aries Mark II and turning you into the Aries, old beat up Mark I and turning you into the Aries Mark II. Now, when you come into the Aries Mark II, there's a very, very, very gentle reminder that it's all about love energy, okay? You will be called upon, like a call of action. You will be awarded all this awesome power on the condition and understanding that you are a messenger of love, a carrier of love and healing, an emperor who rules and conducts and takes care of his empire and his world and his people with compassion, with love. So it might mean you have to, you know, shift your perspective, which might be part of what happens in the refurbishment here. I'm not seeing any cards indicating here the hows and the whys of the refurbishment, but it could be to do with the transformational healing, where you understand through the healing processes that love energy is really, really the only thing that counts. And you are going to be called upon to be this leader, bringing compassion into leadership. It might be a very unusual crown to wear. It might make you feel as though, like, they might think I'm a sissy. They might think I'm a wimp. I'm an emperor. I'm supposed to be tough and strong. But what people really love and respect is someone who's very, very powerful and strong and very, very loving. Okay? So that could be the ultimate challenge here. Okay? Is to be the emperor and face the challenge that being a real emperor and being a gracious, loving, compassionate leader means having to tune into the healing power of love through this transformational healing process. So this could be quite an epic journey for you, okay? Okay, dear Aries, I hope you kind of get what we're talking about here. I hope I didn't hurt your feelings or make you feel dizzy or confused or anything like that. It's going to be quite a journey. And I thank you for coming to Tarot Lumination for this little reading. We do what we can for you, okay? I love doing this reading for you. And so please make the best of the transitions, the transformations. It's going to be really, really good for you, Aries. You're going to come out on top. It's just that you might struggle with this new way of being. How are you going to carry all this power with compassion, okay? You can do it. It might make you feel as you're pitting yourself against the past as well. I just had to add that in there. But really, the old Aries Mark 1 is literally obsolete. It's gone. And you might be still fighting with shadow energy, like reminiscing about the old Aries Mark 1. But really, it's history. It's really just history now, okay? So it's a beautiful, powerful reading for you, Aries. Awesome. Well done. Have an amazing August. You're going to get through the eclipses just fine. And we're all, the rest of us, here for you, too. Congratulations, Aries. Thank you for coming. Thank you for visiting. Have a super August. Bye-bye.